The possibility of a third world war, once a distant nightmare, has crept back into the global consciousness. Geopolitical tensions simmer across the world. The rattling of sabers echoes from the heart of Europe to the peaks of the Himalayas. While no one can predict the future with certainty, the potential flashpoints are impossible to ignore. The world watches with bated breath, hoping for diplomacy to prevail but fearing the worst. Experts and analysts meticulously dissect current events, searching for clues to how such a conflict might unfold. Historic rivalries, territorial disputes, and ideological clashes fuel the flames of potential conflict. The specter of nuclear war, once relegated to the Cold War era, has re-emerged as a terrifying possibility. The world holds its breath, hoping for peace but bracing for the storm. The Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 ignited a conflict that has the potential to spiral into a wider war. The fighting has raged for almost 2 years, with no clear victor in sight. Cities lie in ruins, countless lives have been lost, and the refugee crisis has reached staggering proportions. The world watches in horror as Europe, once a symbol of unity and progress, descends into violence. The conflict in Ukraine is not simply a regional dispute. It is a clash of ideologies and ambitions. Russia, seeking to reassert its dominance in its former sphere of influence, has met with unexpected resistance from Ukraine, bolstered by support from Western powers. The United States and its NATO allies have provided military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine, walking a tightrope to avoid direct confrontation with Russia. The situation remains volatile and unpredictable, a tinderbox waiting for a spark to ignite a wider conflagration. The world's two most populous nations, India and China, stand locked in a tense embrace along their disputed Himalayan border. The ghosts of the 1962 Sino-Indian War still haunt the region, a reminder of the potential for conflict to erupt. Recent clashes between Indian and Chinese troops in the Galwan Valley have heightened tensions, pushing the two nuclear-armed giants closer to the brink. The rivalry between India and China extends beyond their shared border. Both nations harbor ambitions for regional and global influence, competing for resources, markets, and strategic partnerships. China's Belt and Road Initiative, a massive infrastructure project aimed at connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa, has been viewed with suspicion by India, which sees it as a Chinese attempt to encircle it strategically. Despite ongoing diplomatic efforts to ease tensions, the potential for miscalculation or an unforeseen incident to trigger a wider conflict remains a serious concern. A third world war, should it occur, would be unlike anything humanity has ever witnessed. The scale of destruction would be unimaginable, with modern weaponry capable of inflicting casualties on a scale previously unseen. The global economy would collapse, supply chains would disintegrate, and the fragile web of international cooperation would be shredded. The specter of nuclear war, the ultimate nightmare scenario, looms large. The use of even a single nuclear weapon would have catastrophic consequences, not only for the immediate target but for the entire planet. The radioactive fallout, the potential for nuclear winter, and the long-term health effects would be devastating. The very survival of human civilization would be in jeopardy. The stakes have never been higher. The world must choose diplomacy, cooperation, and peace over the abyss of global conflict.